tricksters drinking human blood. Concrete heart can hold no love. I just get sorry for the bodyguard. Bulletproof vest strapped to your chest. Under your collar is getting hot. Whoa. Got a gun, ooh. Got a bomb, ooh. Got a knife, ooh. Who's gonna lose their life? Bodyguard, I wouldn't like your job. Snakes in the grass, but no, not God. Politics, guys drinking human blood. Concrete heart can hold no love. Bodyguard, I wouldn't like your job.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Alrighty, so we are back with you for another segment of Activated Mornings program here on WEFM. And it's time for us to get commentary from Mr. Lyf Compton.
I see Lyf smiling, but I mean something hot.
No.
You look very well.
I move inside, so you all want to get competition for Mr. Billy this morning. Yeah. Good morning, Maka. Good morning, Roleza. Good morning, listeners.
Morning.
Well, I see I get put on a time restriction this morning, so let me go fast. Yeah. So since the new government took office, we have been hearing a lot about gangs and gang culture. And Major Sinclair Leacock, who is the Minister of National Security, he said he was briefed by the police and they told him that contrary to what the former government was saying, that there are 7 to 8 gangs operating in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I do not agree that it's that much. If we are looking at the structure I'm looking at, I do not agree it's 7 to 8. I don't think it's that much. But then the opposition leader came back 2 days ago and insisting that there are no gangs, there are association or groupings. And he says that there's no gangs because there's no structure. I am not listening to what the police said. I'm not listening to what Major Leacock says. I'm not listening to what the opposition leader says. I'm telling you there are at least 2 gangs operating in St. Vincent with the structure that fits the definition of what a gang is. So from my knowledge and from my observation and from my being around the scene for a while covering these things, I'm telling you there are at least 2 gangs in St. Vincent operating with a strong presence and a strong format, and the way they operate fits the definition of what I consider to be a gang. There's a definition, right? There are different definitions, but the definition I think the opposition leader is using is one basically from the FBI standpoint and these big organizations in the United States, because they're different definitions. But I even take that the 2 gangs that operate, I even take that they have the definition of what the FBI would use as a gang, and it's problematic. So everybody's sticking to what they're thinking, everybody's sticking to the guns or whatever, and I'm also sticking to what I'm saying. Now, with that being said, we saw last week Friday there was a big fight in KFC on this street in Kingston, and we saw all the footage or whatever. Since then, the police investigators have charged 5 people, and now this is kind of controversial, right? They charged 5 people responsible, right? And the 5 people went to court and they pled guilty, right? It's ranging from 17, I think, straight up to 23, or 16 straight up to 23. So these guys pled guilty, and they this is the problem I have now. All of them were remanded to await sentence in March 2nd, right? I know Roleza agrees with. Roleza would agree with that and say it might be the shot they need to get themselves together. But to me, right, sending these guys to prison, them being charged with Affray, I think that is kind of problematic, right? Because most likely is their first offense. Secondly, it was a full-time brawl. When I say full-time brawl, hands were used. Somebody picked up one of the signs, the floorboard signs, and beat somebody else with it. But most of it was old-time brawl. The two main guys you see was what we call an old-time brawl. And I kind of feel sorry for the guy that was slapped, because we saw this guy walking through this door and slapping this guy, right? And which boy, which kid is going to take a slap like that without trying to defend themselves? So it's all good that the guys realize that we made a mistake and we went to court and we plead guilty within a waste the court time. But to actually have them remanded, I think that is going to create a stain on their lives and put them down a road that we don't really want them to go down.
All right, so
they're gonna have this. Okay,
let me stop you right there, right? Because you said that I would agree with it. Contrary to what you think you know of me, is Maka who would agree with that. All right, Maka is the one who said, because when we spoke about it on Monday, I was saying because of their ages, I would prefer for them to do something like community service, go clean a police station, do something else, but not send them to prison to go and meet seasoned criminals. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, I apologize, Maka. You're right. Roleza, you're right. Okay, let me say something, right? I'm going to use myself as an example, right? When I went to school, right, and I had a support system that enabled me to, although I was miserable, the support system still enabled me to learn and get the education. And the support system enabled me to find what I like doing and be schooled in it and become very good at it. The support system came from teachers like Andrea Bowman, Claire Keyser, and then later on in life, their mom, Nama Keyser. So I was able to get a job. I was able to practice what I like. And I was able to get really good at it. So therefore, I had a foundation. I got in trouble. I was arrested. I was locked up. And then I came out. And because of the foundation I had, people were able to overlook the fact that I was locked up. If you understand what I'm saying. People were able to overlook that because I had something I could do very well. And I was showing that, okay, I changed. I really about this life anymore, or whatever. These guys haven't reached that point yet. So they have, it would appear that they don't really have a strong support system. It would appear that they don't really have the education background. Now they gone to prison. So then they now, apart from not seeming to have this strong support system and this level of education, they are now have the prison stigma attached to them. If you understand what I mean. So it's good in a way, in that we can only know if them going to prison is good when we see the outcome. If they come out and say, oh boy, we're done with this, we want to go back or whatever, all good, that's 5 people we get to change from that. But if they take it as, boy, we don't have this stigma upon we, nobody can want to give you a job, we can't go back to school, we don't been prison already, we don't have the educational background, we can't, what we going to do? Nobody going to want to give me a job because they're going to see my face all over social media that I went to prison. They're going to think I'm bad. That is compounding the problem that we currently have. So it's really hard for authorities and it's really hard for people who have these choices to make. But remanding them, okay, I go to court, I plead guilty, right? My sentence might not be prison. But why are you going to send me to prison to await a sentence that might not be prison? If you understand what I mean, it's kind of complicated, right? And guilty, people seem to think guilty pleas before a court automatically means that you're remanded to await sentencing. That does not automatically mean that. I have seen guys who have pled guilty to crimes like having huge amounts of counterfeit currency being found guilty and allowed to go home and come back. I've seen guys found guilty of other serious charges and allowed to go home and come back for sentencing. So having these guys realize that they did something wrong and going to court and plead guilty and being remanded is kind of heavy-handed in a kind of way to me, right? Maybe they plead guilty, maybe you read the facts right away.
And maybe Lyf, you there? All right, I think we okay,
Yeah,
so hey, all right, and maybe I'm also wondering if pleading guilty was just a way to not waste the court's time.
Yeah, that's how the court put it. Okay, we plead guilty. We know we did something wrong. We wasted the court time or whatever. When you plead guilty, you get 1/3 discount off whatever the sentence would be. But I don't think these guys' sentence would be going to prison. So when you send them to prison for a crime that is not surely that you're going to prison, is a fist fight. Basically, they had a fist fight. You know what I mean? And nobody was gravely wounded. Nobody was charged for grievous bodily harm. They were charged for creating a Affray. They were charged for creating an altercation, disturbing the peace or whatever. So it's kind of hard because you see there's this thing now that there's this certain court that you go to now. Once you plead guilty, you get remanded. You could be guilty. You could plead guilty to stealing a marble. You're getting remanded. You're not being allowed to go home and come back for the sentencing. That is going to stop people from going to court and pleading guilty. Unless they know they unless they know that they're going to prison for the offense anyway, they're not going to go to court and plead guilty and get remanded. Because knowing you're going to court and plead guilty and getting remanded, a lot of things have to come before that. You have to put your house in order. If you have kids, you have to organize for them to be taken care of. If you have a job, you have to tell the boss when I quit because I'm going to prison or whatever. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to plead guilty to this crime and they might sentence me today. They might put me up for sentence in a different time and they're going to remand me. It's going to be problematic on the judicial system. I don't think that's a good practice at all. It's according, if you plead guilty to murder, firearm possession, if you plead guilty to a huge amount of narcotics, then I could say, well, okay, yeah, you're going to get remanded for that. You know what I mean? Because we saw yesterday 2 guys being charged for possession of 10 kilograms of cocaine. One of them plead guilty, he was remanded, nobody even make noise over that. But the other one plead not guilty and he was given $30,000 bail allowed to go home. Right? And I think it's problematic. I'm not a judge, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm allowed to have my opinion on it. And I know the stigma that can be attached to someone that goes to prison, even if it's for a week. We live in a small society. People are going to remember your face. They're going to say, boy, me want to hire he. He's a jail man. You know what I mean? So the authorities have a this is not just a simple problem in relation to crime and violence and incidents. Like it's not simple. I don't wish this sort of problem on anybody. I don't think this is a good time to be a politician. I don't think this is a good time to be a police officer. I don't think this is a good time to be somebody who holds positions where they have to make certain set of decisions. You understand? I kind of contented with the position I have right now because I don't have to make any decision that affecting anybody or changing society or whatever. It's very hard right now what to do and what not to do. It's weird.
And everybody's going to have an opinion on what they think is the correct way, but
just like I have my opinion now, and some people will say I'm not talking sense. You know what I mean? So it's very, very hard. But I only speak from my experience.
Lyf, somebody sent a message on the WhatsApp. So Lyf, we asked for the system to do more to curb these types of criminal activities and gang violence, and now the system is doing more. You are asking them to do less.
You see the guy. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? So that when I hear a comment now, I could agree with that. I could agree with that, and I could disagree with that. You know what I mean? But I'm saying it's not my decision.
But are you basing your comments though more because of the age of the majority, with the majority of the age of those persons involved?
Yeah, because there's a professor,
right.
There's a Professor Harrington. He attached to the University of the West Indies. He's a criminologist, and he has these great pieces on crime and the causes of crime or whatever. He's very scale limit. I think he's Dr. Harrington or Mr. Harrington or Professor Harrington or whatever. I found back an article I was looking for years that he did for a few years ago in St. Vincent. And what he said that between a certain age group, right, which is actually the age group that you guys are in, that you could change them. You understand? But intervention is not prison. He's speaking about getting them in, as you said, Roleza, getting them involved in activities, social activities or whatever, and showing them that there's another way. And I want to talk extensively about the presentation he did in St. Vincent, but not now. We don't have the time now. But part of the presentation says, right, you train a child. He used the Rastafari and the Bobo Shanti in Jamaica. He said they train the children to make a living. So they train them how to make brooms for sale or whatever, and that's the way they make a living, right? But they are so good at making the brooms, but bad salesmen. He's just giving an example. So I can make this broom really well. It's the best broom, but I can't sell it because I'm not a salesman. But I also have to go and sell it. But I can't get sell because I'm not a sponsor and people post, I can't get it sold, so I can't make any money. I decide, listen, I suffer it. I'm going to try to make my living another way. I meet up with guys who are making a living from crime. And these guys, that's their job. Their job is crime. That's what they do. So they don't see anything wrong with it. And they know part of their job is going to prison if they get caught. And they know their tools of the trade, knives, guns, machetes, whatever weapon, that is the tools of their trade. And they do not know that this is wrong because that's their job. So that I go into this group and they teach me that. Listen, this is our job. This is how we make money. We wake up every day thinking about making money, and this is how we do it. It's crime. So then I shift over to that because my job I had before, I was good at it, but I couldn't get my thing sold. So it's a big problem. It's not just a problem where you could just go and solve it just like that. It's a big, big problem. And as I said, I do not wish to be in the shoes of people who have to do this. It's really hard because it's still a I just read. You understand? But Dr. Harrington, Professor Harrington's synopsis and his piece was very, very interesting. And I was always looking back for it because I was at the Methodist Church Hall when he gave the speech, when he did the he gave the lecture. That time it was opposition. Dr. Godwin Friday was in opposition. So Dr. Godwin Friday had spoke. The Prime Minister of Gonzalo, Prime Minister then he spoke. Then Leopold Friday spoke. Reverend Leopold Friday spoke, and then Professor Harrington gave his piece, and it was very, very interesting to him. Break down the causes of crime, the different modes, that the various countries go through from the start of the crime for some reason, which is like, okay, these guys fighting for drugs. We can talk about Professor Harrington.
All right, so what you could do tomorrow, you could go into a bit more detail about it tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
All right, so.
So yeah, in closing, it's a big problem. I'm good to see that the police did the job and caught the guys early and charged them or whatever. But I think that in my opinion, I don't think that the court process is going to help the situation, right?
Okay.
Maybe and make it worse if they come out from remand and they send them back to prison. Bigger problem. That's it for them. So yeah, that's my contribution this morning. My opinion, of course.
Yes.
Lyf and Roleza to pity.
We took pity.
Or they took pity.
I think it's because
we have to make an example.
No, but because I've worked along with boys from Liberty Lodge as well. Yeah, it's a lot that happens with some of these young people. It's a lot, and I think on the surface we do that another time. All right. So we are going to head on. Lyf, thank you very much for your commentary this morning. And we probably pick it up and continue with it tomorrow. All right. So we are going to go into a cough chat very shortly. And we are actually going to be talking a bit more about young people and artists, etc. So that's actually what we're going to be talking about next.
Wait, did they say in the car just now they're going to charge people for going into Massey parking lot and stopping, picking up passengers?
Yeah, people no longer picking up. It's no more picking up and dropping off at Massey. Yeah.
So good.
Bye.
All right, so we had it all out. All right, thanks, Lyf.
Yeah.
All righty, so we are going to head on out of this segment. I think we're going to have a very interesting cop chat based on some reactions I already saw a while ago. But anyhow, time for an SBG. It is 8:04, and our time check came to you with the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life. Even though death is a fact of life, that doesn't